Lesson 42, Part 3 is graphing equations. Go ahead and push pause, get your notes ready, and push play when you're ready to begin. All right, so how do we graph an equation? Well, the good news is that if what you did on the previous lesson felt like easy for you and you understood it, then this is just one little added piece to the whole thing. So I've kind of guided you through step by step to this. So just like the previous lesson in part 2 of lesson 42, we drew a chart. So we're going to do the same thing. It's the exact same chart. And I had you set it up this way for exactly this reason. So we did this yesterday, or whichever day you did this, I don't know. We have the equal y right here, and the x plus 2, the formula, goes right there. And we need to choose at least 3, it's safest to do 4 possibilities for x. And it's good to keep them nice and low numbers so that you could do the math real easy in your head. So let's choose 0, 1, 2, 3. It's what we did in the previous lesson, so we'll stick with it. Then you are going to plug in for x, which x we're doing. In this case, this first row is going to be x equals 0. So we will put 0 plus 2 equals, and 0 plus 2, as you know, equals 2. So whenever x is 0, y is 2. So now you just need to go back to remembering, how do you graph on a coordinate plane to a set of coordinates? Remember, the x number line is here. You can see that x there. The y number line is here. So we go to 0 on the x, there, and positive 2 on the y, there, and we mark it. So you mark it right there. Next possibility. If x is 1, then I have 1 plus 2 equals, and 1 plus 2 equals 3. So whenever x is 1 for this equation, then y is going to be 3. So we go over to we take our coordinates over to our number line. The 1 on the x is there, 3 on the y is here. So we mark it there. Next row, if x is 2, then y is going to be 2 plus 2, which is 4. So whenever x is 2 in this formula, then y is going to be 4. So I go to 2 on my number line, 2 on the x, 4 on the y, right there. And finally, if x is 3, 3 plus 2 equals 5. So when x is 3 in this formula, y is 5. And I go ahead and I graph it, 3 on the x, 5 on the y, right there. And what you notice is they go in a pattern, and that's the thing. That's why we call them linear equations, because it's going to make a line. So I just have to connect the dots carefully. If I had a ruler that I could use there, it would be good. And ideally, what the line is going to tell you is that if this pattern continues, you don't need to work out the math anymore. You could use the line to tell you if y is at 5, if x is at 5, y is going to be at 7. If x is at 6, y is going to be at 8. If x is negative 5, y is going to be at negative 2. So then the line is giving off the answers, not all having to do all the math. So that's what the line is about. So this is how you graph the equations. We did this in the previous lesson, and we're just taking this part and graphing it. Let's look at another one. All right, so the next one I have is 3x minus 2 equals y. Well, the equals y part is already sitting here, so I just need to take this 3x minus 2 and put it on the line. Then I need to decide what options do I want to use for x. I can use any options for x, and then it will calculate through to tell me where to go on y. I like to keep it simple, so I do 0, 1, 2, 3. That'll give me enough direction in which way the line is going. Now, I just need to do some math. 3 times, this time x is 0, minus 2. 3 times 0 is 0, and 0 subtract 2. If you don't have any money and then you borrow 2 from me, you're going to owe me 2, right? So anytime for this formula that x is 0, y will be negative 2. And we can graph that. We're talking about 0 on the x, which is right here, and negative 2 on the y, which is right there. Right there. Next one, this time x is 1, so I'm going to plug 1 in there, so it's going to be 3 times 1 minus 2. 3 times 1 is 3, subtract 2 is 1. So whenever x is 1, y is 1. That's easy enough. 1 on the x, 1 on the y, right there. They kind of have that numbered weird, but I'm assuming what they mean is 1. They're labeling it right on that line. That's what I'm assuming. All right. Now, x is 2, so I'm going to plug 2 in there. 3 times 2 minus 2. 3 times 2 is 6. Subtract 2 from that, that's 4. So when x is 2, y is 4. 2, 4. So we will go 2 on the x, 4 on the y, right there. And finally, if x is 3, I'll plug 3 in there. That's going to be 3 times 3 minus 2. 3 times 3 is 9. Subtract 2 is 7. So when x is 3, y is 7 for that formula. I'll graph it. I go 3 on the x, 7 on the y, right there. And then if you have a ruler or a straight edge of some sort, you can connect it neater than I am. But that is what 3x minus 2 equals y looks like on a graph. So that's how you graph an equation. Kind of makes sense, doesn't it? All right, let's try a you-do. Let's see how you do. Okay, here's the you-do. Go ahead and graph 2x equals y. You'll need to do the chart first and then get the coordinates and graph them here. Well, you'll have to graph it on your paper, but you can copy that down to graph it on your paper. Push pause and then push play when you have an answer. All right, so you came up with an answer, hopefully, because you tried your best at it. Let's see how you did. So here's the chart we need to start with, and we're doing 2x equals y. And I'm going to use 0, 1, 2, 3. Nice, easy numbers, makes the math quick. This is 2 times 0, which is 0. So if x is at 0, y is at 0. That is right there. That's easy. If x is at 1, y will be at 2 because 2 times 1 is 2. So when x is at 1, y is at 2. So we go 1 on the x, 2 on the y, right there. If x is 2, then it's 2 times 2, which is 4. So when x is 2, y is 4. So 2 on the x, 4 on the y. There. And finally, when x is 3, then it's 2 times 3 equals 6. So when x is 3, y is 6. 3 on the x, 6 on the y, right there. So your graph should have looked like that. So if you were asked to graph the linear equation 2x equals y, that is what the line would look like. Hopefully you got that. We'll do one more you-do and then we should be done. All right, go ahead and graph the equation 3x minus 4 equals y. Push play when you have an answer. Well, let's see what we did here. We have x, we have y, then our coordinates x, y. This is the equal y part already right here. We just need to put 3x minus 4 right here. Okay, I'm going to use 0, 1, 2, 3. Makes my math nice and easy. In the first row, we'll put rows here. So when x is 0, then I will put 3 times 0 minus 4 equals, 3 times 0 is 0. I have $0 in my pocket, and I owe $4. So I have $0 and I owe $4. I am still going to owe $4. So when x is 0, y is negative 4. When x is 1, I have 3 times 1 is 3 minus 4. So I have $3 in my pocket, but I owe $4. I'll pay for the 3 of it, but I still owe how much? Yeah, I still owe 1. So when x is 1, y is negative 1. On the next row, when x is 2, 3 times 2 minus 4 equals, 3 times 2 is 6, and if you subtract 4 from that, it's 2. So when x is 2, y is 2, positive. And finally, on the 3 row, when x is 3, we have 3 times 3 minus 4. 3 times 3 is 9, and 9 subtract 4 is 5. So when x is 3, y is 5. Let's see how that graphs. So we're doing 0, negative 4 first. So 0 on the x, negative 4 on the y right there. Next, 1 on the x, negative 1 on the y. 1 on the x, negative 1 on the y right there. Okay. 2 on the x, 2 on the y. 2 on the x, 2 on the y right there. And finally, 3 on the x, 5 on the y. 3 on the x, 5 on the y right there. Connect the dots as straight as you can. Hopefully you can do it straighter than me. I don't really have a straight edge to use. So graphing the equation 3x minus 4 equals y looks like the line should look like that, and it should run through. It should intercept with x at 1, or as close to 1 anyway, and intercept with y at negative 3. So that's the line I'd be looking for. Hopefully this makes pretty good sense to you. It's applying knowledge you learned from lesson 20-ish, I don't remember which one, information you learned from 42 part 2, and putting it all together into one thing. So if this makes sense to you, get the closure questions and show me you know it. If it's still unclear, feel free to rewind where you need to. And if you need additional help besides that, come see me.